How many of you have heard this saying, new level, new devil? That's absolutely right. That saying is completely true. But here's what you got to understand. Opportunity, even in the world, but especially in God, disguises itself in hard work. It puts on work clothes. And that is why many people miss their opportunity. And there's this story in the Bible that is so fascinating and sheds a lot of light to what I'm saying. It's the story where, the Lord had just taken the children of Israel out of Egypt and takes them and shows them the promised land. But there was such trouble. There was such trouble because this promised land, this land that flows with milk and honey, this very wonderful place had giants inside the land. And so that causes you to ask the Lord this question. That caused me to ask God, Lord, why would you bless me and wrap my blessing in a problem? Now I got to decode this problem to get my blessing. What's the problem, Lord Jesus? Well, how about you just hand me what belongs to me without any trouble attached to it? I'm sure you and I would want that, right? But no. Listen, this is the word that I've even come to understand. Even the saying that says more money, more problems. It's 100% facts. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. It's everywhere in our literature, and it's true. Because, and listen to this, if the character isn't there to handle that opportunity, the opportunity itself will crumble you. And there is no better way to build you up and prepare you for that land that flows with milk and honey than to fix the character through problems. I'm sorry to say, it's just the way it is. But nobody comes with a perfect character. Nobody comes just ready to take the world, Nobody is the finished product. And God has to completely shape us, especially when we come to Him and when we submit our lives to Him. He makes us like Him. And then He starts bestowing this. Listen, I'm sorry to say, but these things are conditional. There's some blessings that just come as soon as we get saved, like just, salvation and all these things are blessings. But then others are conditional. They are conditional. And it has to do with your level of submission to the process. It has to do with your level of saying, you know what, this flesh, I got to put you to death. It has to do with your obedience. And so God wanted to train them. God wanted to change their perspective. Listen, it's not just a land that has giants inside, but I want you to be able to take down giants. Because guess what also? If that land didn't have any giants inside, everybody would have found that land accessible. It wouldn't have been a blessing. It's a blessing because there's trouble attached to it. And not many people like trouble. Look at the Jericho also. The Lord told Joshua, I have given you Jericho. But then if you just look at the very next verse, it says, but Jericho was securely shut up. And Jericho, the walls, was such a fortress. But He had just given me Jericho. But now I got to march around it. I got to fight my way through it. I got to obey Him in the process. Because that process to attaining it is more important than the destination itself, than the blessing itself. Because that's the very thing that prepares you to be able to handle it. Yes, so there's giants in front of your breakthrough. There's giants inside your miracle. There's giants in your promise. And those giants are to keep you awake. Those giants are to keep every other person away from it. Because God has the right ingredients to prepare you and train you up so that you can take it. If there were no giants in it, everybody would be able to grab it. If the walls of Jericho were in a fortress, anybody could have taken Jericho. If the promised land, if the land flowing with milk and honey had no giants in it, any other person, the Amalekites, whoever could have just been able to take it. But the Lord prepared His people for His promise. And God will prepare you for His promise. He's the God of the promise, and He's the God of the preparation. You just got to submit.